world, Florida. Dr. Narco Longo.
Brought to you by the Florida Department of Magic. Welcome to Florida, baby.
Florida is the original Garden of Eden.
Florida has the highest concentration of freshwater springs in the world.
Florida oranges are the golden apples of mythology. A race of giant men once roamed this peninsula. The Smithsonian can suck my balls.
Florida is littered with many ancient megalithic ship anchors, known as sacks or sleeves.
I'm bringing Sansa back.
Howdy, everybody. Hope you all can hear me. Let me know how we're sounding as you file in here. Hope everyone's safe out there from the hurricane, Helene. And I apologize for being late. I was ready to get going at 9 o'clock, finishing up an astrology reading, actually. And I suddenly got a important phone call, almost an emergency phone call. And it was a serious phone call. So I did have to take that for about 2 hours. I was on that phone call right up until I got off before I started the stream here. So I just got off that phone call. I'm sorry, guys. But I am very flattered that we have 130 in here already. So even though I'm 2 hours late, I'm touched that you guys are still sticking around for the show. But admittedly, we're talking about what we were talking about last week, just the updates. We've got the new details, death toll even, unfortunately. But yeah, that's where I was. Sorry, guys. And just rode my skateboard over here to get started. I saw the clock and I was like, well, still going to get going anyway. But thanks for being here. Hurricane Helene. Last time we did the show, the hurricane was still hitting. It hadn't left the United States It hadn't, gone away. But it was still kind of wreaking havoc. Well, now it's pretty much all wrapped up, all said and done. More, eyes on the ground and seeing what's happening there. And we've got a death toll that's probably still going to increase, but whatever. And something about Asheville, Asheville, North Carolina, got hit particularly hard over there in the Appalachian Mountains. And, it's always, everything's about me, right? Everything's about Florida. It is true. I grew up in Asheville. Every summer, wasn't born there or anything, but every summer I'd go to Asheville, Hendersonville, Asheville. Went to Chimney Rock too. And yep, seen the Biltmore. What's up, guys? Seeing you guys in the chat. My chat's a little late on here. Should probably kick out the chair tonight. I'm a little tired tonight, but we were all okay after the hurricane. All good over here in Palm Beach County. West Coast didn't fare as well. Northwest Coast. Steinhatchee is a town that I did grow up in even more than Asheville earlier. And Steinhatchee was pretty devastated. Some of our favorite restaurants over there when I was growing up have, ceased to exist. They got wiped off the face of the planet. And Asheville, of course, significant flooding. Still flooding over there, supposedly. My brother was in Asheville 2 days before the storm. He got out just in time, he hightailed it to Florida and was much better off in Florida, but dodged a bullet. Thank God. A lot of people weren't as lucky. I'm sure a lot of you all have, stories and loved ones, your own, window into that whole thing. But yeah, where's Spencer when you need him, right? Talking about weather modification and all that. Who knows? Big storms happen. Let's not take that away from Mother Nature or God. Right? It's not just the Illuminati pressing a button. But that flooding was pretty extreme. I will tell you, for those who aren't familiar with Asheville is extremely, extremely prone to flooding. I've stayed in Asheville for like 2 summers in a row recently when I had my own van and, living there and stuff. And if I went to sleep on one hill and it rained that night, you wouldn't be able to cross to other parts of the town because the water was up so high. The French Broad River, which runs backwards, by the way, that's kind of the downtown, the river that runs through downtown Asheville, and it's murky. It's pretty dirty to begin with. You can see how disgusting that water is over in Asheville. Here, I'm going to switch our background here. But yeah, we're going to talk about some things. Someone was going to join me at 9 o'clock, but unfortunately, I screwed that up. So we're rocking it solo tonight. Yeah, Asheville is Asheville. I don't want to speak poorly of the dead or speak poorly of the downtrodden, but Asheville, if anyone's on God's, if anyone in the Southeast United States is on God's bad side, Mother Nature's bad side. Again, I don't want to, it's fresh. These are fresh wounds, but Asheville is a can of worms, to say the least. It's like the Key West of North Carolina, kind of like the hippie mystic. For those who don't know Asheville or haven't spent time there, it's like the hippie, liberal, LGBT capital of the Southeast United States, excluding Florida. It's like the Sodom and Gomorrah of the American South. Really. People think it's Nashville. They're really close. Nashville is more of like a carnival with an N, Nashville. Asheville is it's like Twin Peaks, right? It's very surreal, a little bit darker, more of like a witchy feel there. Yep, Old World. Yep, good videos on there. Asheville is mystical. There is an energy there. That's why I say it's like Key West. Both of those are like LGBT hotspots. But what also links them is this like Bermuda Triangle type feeling. I love Asheville, but it is how to describe it in non-new agey terms. It's very new agey. The people there are bohemian, eccentric, a lot of buskers, people from all over the world. Just kind of, you can be homeless there and live like, live upper classes and homeless are the line is blurred in Asheville. It's like Portland. It's like the Portland. I've never been to Portland. That's why I didn't say that, but it's like the Portland of the Southeast. There are dark forces at work in Asheville. That's a good way to say that. Yeah. It's very artsy. Good point. And I love Asheville. There's good food there, undeniably. Probably some of the best food in America in Asheville. Oh, here's another one. A lot of beer drinkers in Asheville. A lot of breweries. Thank God. Thank God for fucking sweeping that shit back out into the abyss. Ugh. So at least a good part of that floodwater is probably IPAs and things like that. But yeah, my brother said that he pretty much felt a intuition to get the hell out of there. So my brother got out of Asheville pretty much the last second before the storm. So here, all right, I'm gonna look at the chat here for a sec while I switch the background. How's everyone doing tonight? Drop an orange in the chat if you want me to shout you out. And go check out my recent Giants in Florida video. What was it called? race of giants once inhabited this peninsula. And I got another video coming out tomorrow, probably, which is Bimini. The Bimini Road. That one's going to be a real good one. So that's what's coming up. But how we doing, y'all? Willie Gilbert, got a member up in the house. How you doing? Fourth Emperor, good to see you. Drone Daddy, what's up? What's up? Brown Dwarf, good to see you. Moy Freestyle Life, good to see you. Catnip 40, that doesn't count. Ben Foil Hat, good to see you. Heidi Esterholm, what's up? What's up? Hope you're in Scandinavia, Heidi. Drone Daddy. Monica, what's up? Rune Chaos. Filming as a background actor. You're a background actor on Netflix. Do I know you? Are you a girl? I know someone who's doing that. Fourth Emperor, what's up? Jillian, good to see you. What's up, Mar? What's up, also Duro? Good to see you. Carney Shill, my number one fan. Good to see you. X Factor, Que Pasa. KK Krupp, K Krupp. Chris Escobar, what's up? Sin Bub Loves Jesus. Todd. Catnip 40, what's up? Drone Daddy, enjoy the sticker, man. Moy Freestyle Life, what's up? Thanks for the $2. And thanks, Drone Daddy, for the $9.99. Here, we'll put the link out if people want to join. Call in, talk about the hurricane, give us some stories, put out an SOS if you need. Boom. All right, copy the link to call in, y'all. You want to call in? Opening up the lines. Orange is in the chat. Thor at the door. What's up? Nasty Nat 666. The Rubster. Is that the Rube Star or the Rubster? Someone else. Rune Chaos. I think I already said so. All right. Oh shit! Is someone calling the fucking store? All right, give me 1 sec, guys. Hello. Nice. Calling into the, what is this, Howard Stern? Think you can just call in here? Say it again. You got to turn me off in the background. It's looping like crazy.
I'm waiting on you to finish at 7 o'clock tonight.
My bad, man.
You gotta turn me off in the background. I've been waiting to see it at 7 o'clock tonight. Now we said call in, so I'm calling you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we can do it through here. Make sure the TV's off so we don't hear me.
Everything's off except for you.
Okay, sounds perfect now. How you doing, man?
Hold on. I'm doing good, my brother. I just want to teach you right here, real quick. Me and my one brother come down to the bookstore and buy some books or whatever. You know what I'm saying? No BS.
Hell yeah. We're open to the public.
Trust me. No bullshit. No garbage. No garbage.
Hell yeah. Love New Smyrna.
Absolutely love it.
Did you say this is John Sup? Yeah.
And I did a search on for you earlier. No disrespect at all, but that's how
Oh, well, I appreciate it, man. But yeah, I had an urgent phone call.
sometimes a horrible thing, a beautiful thing, but that's the point of the mess. But yeah, don't be surprised here in the future. I'm not going to come down there by myself. That would be weird. But me and my bro come down there and take a wander to your bookstore and a bottle full of cats and buy the oldest books you got.
Bring some hose up.
I'm not bullshit. Because check this out. I bought a book a while ago about Egyptology. And yeah, ever since then, you know what I'm saying, I'm all into the opposite of what I was taught in school. So to say.
Sure, yeah, man. So what? Do you grow up in New Smyrna?
God, well, I was a Coronado Pirate. I went to elementary school in 85, 86, right in Smyrna. So yeah.
Hell yeah.
Pretty much East Coast. East Coast, a beautiful dude. And how about this? When it comes to the springs, boom, right? You got a problem with your kidneys, you got a problem with your heart, you got a problem with your skin. You jump into these springs, and that's what the big pharma's been. They don't want to talk about that, right? Because it's all the elements in the spring water.
Yep.
Right.
100%.
Eat this pill. Oh, you got a problem with your you know what I'm saying? Oh, you got a problem. Eat this pill. And that's something that me and my silent partners, we don't do. We're all about 100%. The spring water is a beautiful thing. Comes out of the ground. I've been swimming in spring water since I was 11, 12 years old, and I'm doing great. New pharmaceuticals in my life.
Hell yeah. I met over in Ormond, I did a video in Ormond. I got a video on New Smyrna coming out soon. But when I was in Ormond, we met a guy who said that he was late 60s. Okay. He looked, and I pulled him aside because I wanted some information on a spring in Ormond Beach. It's all in the video. But I stopped this guy who was doing laps around the park, around the sulfur spring that was built with the fountain coming out of a saxor stone, and it had a Indian chief's head carved into it, into the rock. And I had stopped this guy while he was walking, just like pacing around for exercise. And I said, what's with the water? Is that like drinkable? Where, is that just reclaimed water? What is that? And he said, oh, that's a deep tapped well. That's sulfur water. That's sulfur spring water. And they feed that to the park, but it also goes into the houses in this neighborhood. He's like, yeah, we drink it. And most of the houses in this neighborhood have a special tap that's that deep sulfur water. And he said, I asked him, I was like, how old are you, man? And he goes, oh yeah, I'm 67 or 69. I'm like, bro, he looked like he was in his late 40s. He looked not a wrinkle on his face. He looked young. I remember my grandparents when they were late 60s, they looked ancient. No offense, RIP, but they looked like, most people look like shedding lizards by the time they hit. This guy's still here? You still here? John?
I'm right here.
What's up?
I'm listening.
Cool.
Like I said, I'm looking at you right now. If you held up 2 fingers, you would hold up 2 fingers.
It's real. It's live.
Hold up 3 fingers, and I'll tell you whether or not you're sure. Check it out. So 2 fingers. Hang on 3. The other way. Boom, boom. All right. you for the longest, right? No pun intended. Now, I remember saying, if you had a problem with your heart, you'd go to this one spring. If you had a problem with your liver, you'd go to this spring.
Yep.
If you had a problem with your kidneys, wherever, you go to this spring, right? There's all the minerals, right? And you don't need to eat. And you know what? I'm pretty much, I'm not on the theory or whatever, but I wouldn't be surprised, and thanks to you, that all of the minerals that you need to sustain your body, right? You don't it's drinkable. You don't need to eat a motherfucking cow, a fucking heart of a cow, or whatever. It's all about the elements. And you're the one that fucking, for me listening to you, you're the one that enlightened my brainstorm on this one. And I'm not bullshitting one bit. You know what I mean? McDonald's ain't shit, dude. McDonald's is a garbage fuck. So you want to go to the dumps? Go to the McDonald's. But I think it's all liquid nutrients.
Yeah.
I think it's all
Totally.
liquid nutrients.
Yeah, the spring you're referring to was Espiritu Santo Spring. Over near on the West Coast. I think near Sarasota or Tarpon Springs or Newport Richey, around there.
And then the one time that you said that it's almost like that Florida is like it's almost like not manufactured, but like the flattest place on the earth. And then you're like boom, and then like the springs that are pumping up out of Florida, it's like if you cleared the mountain range, if you flatten the mountain range, boom, they're hemorrhaging. It's like the springs are hemorrhaging out.
Yeah, it's like severed. Water. It's like severed limbs. It's the
like
water.
And I was seeing that, and I was like, what the fuck, dude?
Oh, here, John Sup.
Oh shit.
John Sup. See if you can figure out how to call in from your computer next time. This is okay, but this probably doesn't sound the best for the people out there. But
all right, 10-4. Hey, listen, do not do spot bucket. If I see a bum in front of your fucking bookstore, dude, the dude's gonna get fucking steamrolled.
Good. Why did you read the reviews on our bookstore? Yeah, the bums.
Yeah, I'm all with the bums. I'm all nothing but positive things right here. Yes, and I got you. And back to the fans. I love you. I'm one of the fans, and when you know my voice, you don't be surprised.
Okay.
I'm a new Smarty Beats, Turtle Mound, Old Ruins, Turnbull Bay, the whole thing. Yeah, we're all good here.
Okay. John Sup. Thanks, John Sup. You have a good night, man.
I'm going to still watch it. I'm not going to call it again. So I'm going to still watch it.
So
I love it. You good?
You too. Peace.
Good about it.
All right. Got the phone lines open. We got the link on the screen here. People can whatever. I'm going to take a second to call to talk about the storm a little bit more. Now that we got the appropriate background up. He was talking about McDonald's a little bit, I think. We've got right here, this street corner. This is downtown Asheville. This is a little bit outside. I think they call this the Biltmore Estates neighborhood, or the Biltmore something neighborhood district. But this is Asheville. If you've driven into Asheville, you've probably driven past the Biltmore, right? Very famous, popular mansion, villa, all these gardens, and it's immaculate and very prestigious place. It's like a museum / I think you can still stay there. I think you can rent a room there. But yeah, very cool spot. But this is like, they have this themed, I don't know if it's Dutch or German style, but you can see there like the barn, the old like Dutch barn style architecture is all kind of clumped together. And even the McDonald's looks like that back there in the back. It has like that Dutch barn aesthetic. And this whole kind of couple blocks looks like that. And the McDonald's does too. But right there, I've been there on just an average. Like I said, I used to practically live in Asheville a long time. I grew up going there in the summers, and then I spent like a good portion of the last 2 years or so staying in Asheville in my van. Like I said, it rains in Asheville. Some people can consider that area of the Appalachian Mountains a rainforest because of how hot and humid and how often it rains. But the French Broad River comes pretty close. So this water that you're seeing is the French Broad River that climbed up into the city. Well, I've been there when it wasn't a hurricane, when it was just a nightly rainstorm that you've never heard of, never gave a name, not even a tropical depression. I've been there for ready, just in, drop of the hat, and boom, it's raining. And guess what? The city is flooded. Asheville floods very easily. Down by the river, like the Arts District, it floods super, super easily over in Asheville. And the water comes up from the river very, very high. I've been there. Like I said, if you sleep in one part of town and it rains too much, you can't get to other parts of town. That's on a regular night with a regular everyday, rainstorm. This is a hurricane. This is some people are saying, the biggest storm of the century. It's always the storm of every new storm's the storm of the century. But they were saying that about this one too. So you can kind of expect what it did to Asheville. Well, what else happened? The Arts District is supposedly like devastated, destroyed, gone. A lot of the more kind of suburban areas around it, lots of like mudslides and shit were happening. So a lot of those just wooden framed houses are just washed away. I probably could have picked a background picture with way worse devastation, but we don't want to be too grim here. But this does kind of display that water line probably went way up higher, because I've seen it super. I've seen it 6 feet of water in parts of Asheville before, where you can't even drive. You wouldn't even think to drive through it, and that's just any old day. So, who's been to Asheville before? How many people know that? Know what I'm talking about? Biltmore Village. Yeah, Biltmore Village. Thank you. Cloud seeding. Maybe. Who knows? Haitian black magic. Shake my head. People saying the rain had like jelly type consistency. Oh, I haven't heard that. That's interesting. Chimney Rock. Yeah, Chimney Rock is devastated. I remember. Ash. Okay. Well, yeah, the destruction's pretty crazy. Who's got mine? Someone's got a profile picture of me. Someone has a picture of me as their profile. Whatever. All right, Hurricane Helene. Here, there is one other thing that we got to talk about. I know a lot of you guys have heard about this, so I'm going to pull up some more pictures of devastation, but we're going to read through this here. Hurricane Helene. People were sending me stuff on this, I think, a full week ago when we were live. But basically, This shit is crazy. It's deep. I don't know if there's a rhythm to this, like they recirculate the names on a fixed time, 66 years or whatever, but I know a lot of you guys have seen this. Hurricane Helene. Apparently, this is not the first Hurricane Helene. There was a Hurricane Helene 66 years ago. Check me on that math, but I think that's right. Hurricane Helene was in 1958. So that was the original Hurricane Helene. Maybe there's one before that. I don't know. I just found out about this a couple days ago. But Hurricane Helene, 1958. So 2024. Let's see. 58 plus 66. Right? That's 2024. So 66 years. And yeah, Hurricane Helene. Now, Helene is a good name. I can say about 100 good things about the name Helene. But if we're looking for rabbit holes and some symbolism there, Helene with 66 is more like hell than it is Helios, right? You'd be kind of calling on the darker meaning of hell with that, the 66 years after the fact. And apparently it mirrored the formation too, like the trajectory of the storm. I don't know this. I haven't looked at the maps. People were telling me that the timeline of it forming, or at least the timeline of it getting classified, was the same. But here, we'll read this. Go down here. Hurricane Helene was the most intense tropical cyclone of the 1958 Atlantic hurricane season, the 8th tropical storm and 4th hurricane of the year. Helene was formed from a tropical wave east of the Lesser Antilles. Moving steadily westward, the storm slowly intensified, attaining hurricane strength on September 26th, as conditions became increasingly favorable for tropical cyclone development. Helene began to rapidly intensify. Nearing the United States east coast, the hurricane quickly attained Category 4 intensity on September 26th, before it subsequently reached its peak intensity, with maximum sustained winds of 150 miles per hour and a minimum barometric pressure of 930 MBAR, or whatever that is. I don't know what that is. Does that mean I'm stupid if I don't know what MBAR is? What does MBAR mean? Someone help me out. Is that like a barometer? MBAR? Someone smart and handy tell me what MBAR is. The intense hurricane came within 10 miles of Cape Fear, North Carolina, before recurving out to sea. Accelerating, Helene gradually weakened and transitioned into an extratropical cyclone as it passed over Newfoundland on September 29th. Helene's extratropical remnants traversed eastwards across the Atlantic Ocean before dissipating near Great Britain on October 4th. So, guys, if you're listening in here, millibar. Okay, millibar. Someone's saying millibars. Okay. Thank you. Now I know, millibars. Look at that. So for those who don't know, this is not the Helene that just happened that we're describing. We're talking about a Helene that was a full 66 years ago. So who came up with the renaming? Not only is the same name, we're talking about the same exact timeline almost within a couple days. September 24th, September 26th. Right, what does it say? 29th. It's dissipating October 4th, so I guess it was still kicking by now. But I don't know. What's Helene doing right now? Is it even existent? But here, we could be making everyone looking at this rabbit hole could be making a fool of themselves. Maybe I am, because there could be some rhyme and reason to how they select the names. But how do you line up the same dates that the same name went with, right? Helene is marked, following the same exact path, not in terms of like distance or location, but the same timeline. That's worth noting. That's very extreme, right? That's bone chilling. I'll share a little thing with you guys. One of my earliest ever nightmares, maybe I'm revealing too much of my Freudian, Lynchian secrets here, but when I was very young, I had a early nightmare, one of my earliest, scariest nightmares about the weatherman. How weathermen or the weatherman was actually, when I was very young, I thought the weatherman controlled the weather. I fully thought that the weatherman controlled the weather, like the weatherman on TV. The what do they call those guys? The forecasters, right? That when I was so young, I thought that they controlled the weather and that they were like shamans, in tune with the gods or something. I was very, very young, and I had a dream that the weatherman was like creating evil weather, like bad weather. Okay, meteorologist. Yeah, thank you. And yeah, I forgot why I brought that up, but weatherman, because that's like what this would be. Like, who's behind weathermen? Who gives them the script to name all the stuff, right? And yeah. People are independently measuring all this stuff, but isn't that the same thing? Like, it jumped from tropical storm to it jumped from a tropical storm or something lesser right up to very quickly up to category 4. Is that right? Did they have those in common? Whatever. We'll keep reading. Despite not making landfall in North Carolina, its close proximity to land caused extensive damage across the U.S. East Coast. Strong winds resulted in widespread power outages, cutting telecommunications along the coast. A weather station in Wilmington, North Carolina, reported a wind gust of 135 miles per hour, setting a new record for fastest wind gust reported there. Though mostly concentrated in North Carolina, rainfall was widespread, reaching as far north as Maine. In the United States, damages reached $11.2 million, and there was one indirect death. After impacting the U.S., Helene produced strong winds and heavy rain across much of Atlantic Canada. In Cape Breton Island on Nova Scotia, the storm was considered the worst in at least 21 years. Power outages cut most communications from the island to the mainland, and property damage in Sydney, Nova Scotia, totaled 100 bajillion Canadian money, candy dollars, at Helene's landfall in Newfoundland. Strong gusts peaking at 82 miles per hour in Naval Station, Argentina, were reported. Loss of power, severed communications, damage across there totaled at least 100,000 Canadian dollars, candy dollars, fake money, Trudeau tokens, total damages, Castro coins. Total damages associated with Helene in the United States and Canada amounted to $11.4 million. Okay. Making Helene the costliest storm of the season, blah, blah, blah. That's the path it took. Logan Legacy. Okay. We'll get you in here. One sec. Moy Freestyle. How you doing, man? I think you're muted. Are you muted? Yeah, you're good.
Coming in hot with this one, man. I got some things to say about this. This is crazy.
Hit us.
Two things. So someone was saying earlier about the black magic or the voodoo. I believe that, but in a different way, in the sense that technology with use of these kind of different rituals, I think are always used around these pivotal points. We got, the autumn, we got these seasonal points, and they're always doing some F-boy shit. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't think I can swear. My bad. They're always doing something crazy. And then also being in the coastline, growing up, a lot of times in DR, I would see, no joke, especially when the weather was bad, USOs coming out of the water or coming into the water. And I know I had mentioned before one time when I was on your show about the Bermuda Triangle. I think maybe, one of these facilities, black book facilities, maybe black budget facilities. I mean, I think they got something either by the Bermuda Triangle or working with whatever's down there in the Bermuda Triangle, because these storms are not regular.
Yeah. What do you think about this one? What's the thing that stands out most? The path, the size, or the...
It's mainly the path, and this is not the first time, and people were saying this with where I currently am, and with certain storms over here. Sandy was one of them, and there was other storms where people were talking about how the storm shouldn't be traveling these paths, and they also build up too fast, and then they shouldn't build up quicker and bigger over land, and they end up doing that. They should actually get slower over land.
Right. You ever been to Asheville?
I haven't been to Asheville, but it's funny that you bring that up, or somebody in the chat brought it up about the voodoo stuff. I have heard that a lot, and there's a big artistic community, so I've actually always heard about Asheville, but I also have heard stories about a darker side and some of these more nefarious things that happen down there.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of I guess if North Carolina has a voodoo problem, Asheville would have to be the capital of it, because I can't imagine that stuff being fostered as much as it would at Asheville. Asheville is, people stay up late at night. I've definitely seen the hobo population, the homeless. It's hard to say hobo because there's busking musicians who are homeless. That's like a good percentage of the Asheville population. Then there's hobos, ton of hobos, crackheads, drifters, wanderers, train riders. That's a good part of the population too. And a lot of those people do get up to the dark magic. They do engage in it, and that's a lot of... Go ahead.
No. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say that's what gets a lot of people on the street too.
Yeah, that gets a lot of people on the street, and unfortunately, there's a lot of people who get into it because they're in desperate situations. And the unfortunate part about that is that they don't understand the karmic backlash to it, and then two, even if they may not have, let's say, quote unquote, super negative intentions themselves, and they might want a quick fix of their life, or maybe get off the street and say, hey, let me do this, let me do that. It still affects the collective consciousness in this metaphysical sense. All that kind of stuff is just bad juju, whatever you want to call it. It's bad energy going in. And storms, everything is water. So like from a frequency standpoint, once again, I mentioned this again, and I don't want to get like too Captain Planet with it, but I do think that our consciousness has an effect on the weather. And I think that could be a form of manipulation. And that's why I think sometimes this voodoo, this black arts is involved with the technology as well. I've even heard certain theories with that, with the MK Ultra stuff, that it's not all just tech. It's like tech with this dark metaphysical stuff too.
Sure. There's another connection there is that the voodoo doll mentality and all this, it's pretty compatible with AI and um, robots that are going to have like a whole nervous system ready to be programmed. Um, what's the difference between a spirit inhabiting this whole like Blade Runner thing? What is it called? Do robots dream of a cyborg sheep or whatever? I think
Yeah.
it's much more likely that they are capable of consciousness, but
No,
not
I,
but not human or good consciousness. Only they'll be only receptive to dark forces that'll have an easy time operating machines. It'd be easier than operating a human, you know?
I think we're gonna have both,
Maybe.
or we already do. And a lot of these ancient stories, when they talk about the black goo, or they talk about these negative entities, or even archons, have been heard talked about as almost like an AI intelligence. And you see it a lot of these movies. Transformers always has kind of that gist. And there's ancient stories. I forgot what indigenous tribe, but they literally talk about like an AI entity that's kind of been plaguing our universe, that's been around since like before the Earth.
Hmm. Interesting. Were you aware of the solar eclipse that happened?
I was aware of the solar eclipse, and that's what I'm saying. Usually the storms line up. At least these big ones, they line up during these times where there's this shifts. And yeah, they're using. Look, man, they got the black magic. Hopefully, there's people doing white magic besides us. But they it's going to be used on the same energy lane lines, the same points that you do the good stuff. They're just doing the bad stuff, and I think they're harnessing. Look, all these different catastrophes that go on around the world, they happen around the same time. Even the political stuff, they're always around these big. Uh, I guess you would say seasonal events, man, that go along. Uh, we would call it, I guess, the pagan calendar, but it's just the seasonal calendar.
Right. Well, hey, Moy, freestyle life. I'm gonna let you go, man. Oh, he bugged. He dipped out too quick, but you have a good night, man. Moy, freestyle life. We're gonna talk about the solar eclipse here for a sec because this is another big factor into the storm. The hurricane is, of course, historically, lots of natural disasters coincide with eclipses, or people think eclipses mark the beginning or an end of a cataclysm. A lot of people tend to think that way. I went to the last annular eclipse in Texas like a year ago with my girlfriend for Robert Phoenix's astrological conference. I think he's got another one going on probably soon, right about coming up on it. And that was fun. It was good. No, nothing bad happened. It was really cool, really fun. But this one seems to have right punctuated the this hurricane thing. So we just covered Hurricane Helene 66 years ago, 1958, how that mirrored this Hurricane Helene. Now we're looking at the solar eclipse, October 2nd, 2024. Annular solar eclipse occurred at the moon's descending node of orbit on Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024, with a magnitude of 0.9326. A solar eclipse occurs when the moon passes between Earth and the sun, thereby totally or partly obscuring the image of the sun for a viewer on Earth. An annular solar eclipse occurs when the moon's apparent diameter is smaller than the sun's, blocking most of the sun's light and causing the sun to look like an annulus. An annular, which means ring. An annular eclipse appears as a partial eclipse over a region of the Earth thousands of kilometers wide, occurring about 2 hours before apogee. I don't know that word. Sorry, guys. We're gonna learn it right now. Apogee. Oh, perigee. Fuck. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't go to college, y'all. Actually, I did marine biology, but didn't learn this stuff. Apogee. Is that a soft G or a hard G? Y'all, tell me this stuff. Yep, anal eclipse, guys. Nothing to see here. Anal eclipse. Go back to bed. But annular eclipse. Is that a hard G or a soft G? Because I'm a hard G, motherfucker. All right? I'm a hard ass G. G. Hard G. Okay, thank you. Apogee. Whatever. Stupid word. Fuck that word. Striking it from the vocabulary. So we got this annular eclipse happening kind of at the tail end of the storm, but still worth noting. I didn't even know about this eclipse. No one was really marketing it or talking about it or anything. Yeah, here. Yo, Rune Chaos, what's up? How you doing, man?
Greetings. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You sound good, loud and clear. Where are you calling us from?
Currently, I am in the Wilmington, North Carolina, but I was raised in Western North Carolina.
Nice. Did you fare okay through the storm?
Yeah, I think it was like 3 weeks ago. A storm came through and flooded a bunch of stuff here. And so everyone was ready for the second storm, but it went up the west coast of Florida instead of coming up to us. And then that's when it destroyed Hendersonville and all the other lovely towns that are up there.
Yeah, totally. But what, you said you wanted to chat about Asheville? Is that you?
Yeah, I saw something online. It said that Asheville had taken damages upwards of $100 billion, but that didn't make any sense to me unless it was that the Biltmore estate and all of its artworks had been damaged.
Oh, shit. Good point.
Because from what I understand, if it wasn't your video or some other video that I saw on there, it's like that they were connected directly to the people of when it was New Zealand or New Netherlands or whatever. And so the dude from the Biltmore estate was connected to those families that ran and operated the Dutch West India Trading Company. And so most of the artworks that are in that building are handed down through their bloodline to this dude who was a bachelor. And so, like you're saying, Asheville is like a pleasure palace. And when that was kind of set up by that guy, I imagine, because it was like his bachelor pad.
Right.
And the gentleman previously who you were speaking to was talking about all like the negative magics that's going out there, but also there are like pagan worshiping people out there in the woods that do good magics, though, I would say, that aren't really negative people.
They sacrificing animals?
No sacrificing of the animals, but the giving of the fruits and the gratitude for what we're given. And
Shall I
kind of move past that so much.
Good in my book.
the Cherokee, North Carolina people fared rather well. And luckily, they're not a Federal Reserve. They actually own their own property. So, and they also don't have too many dams out there. So they didn't flood. But there is a town out there called Bryson City in Western North Carolina, which was where Deliverance, the movie, the people who started the Nantahala Outdoor Center is like the first. Squeal, boy. Drop them pants. Yeah, so they filmed as stunt doubles. And they took the $14,000 and they started the Nantahala Outdoor Center, which was like the first whitewater rafting company on the eastern seaboard in 1972. And they did not get too destroyed, but they have had a lot of trouble with landslides and flooding in that area. And Bryson City is where they're located. They are a very small town, but they keep all their buildings are less than 3 stories high. They don't want anybody to super develop it, and they got totally flooded out as well. I don't think that they got a lot of damage, but a lot of flooding for sure.
Right.
Appreciate your time and attention. There was a really good crystal store in Asheville that was in the basement of a building. I don't know if it got destroyed, but they probably, all their stuff is probably still there unless it got ransacked out by all the junkies, you know.
I think it really depended what hill you're on. I think the low-lying areas obviously are toast, but some of the downtown areas are more up on a hill, and some people made it out okay. But
so
go ahead.
I apologize for interrupting you.
You're good.
There's a mountain that is formed completely out of quartz crystal there. It's called Shining Rock Wilderness Retreat. And I was speaking with your brother on the telephone at the phone store one day, your younger brother, and he said that
the phone store
or the bookstore, excuse me.
Bookstore. Sorry. Classic Longoism.
The Apalachicola River is where that this quartz sand is at, right? If what he said is correct. And I was curious if that has any river, like perhaps maybe the Native Americans brought the quartz crystals down and smashed them up to farm the gold out of them and use the sand to make the beach, or if it was just naturally deposited there through erosion.
Yeah, I can't comment on that too much. I don't have much to contribute, but
a theory.
I will say, I will say that a video that I'm going to have coming out soon, a theory that I've been toying with, which is not really a theory. No one's done it yet. Is, all these early European explorers were searching for Chikora, right? It's like the El Dorado of the eastern United States. Everyone's looking for this Chikora, right? Well, there's other names for it. Chipola, Chikora, right? It's like the lost 7 cities, or it's very close to like the El Dorado myth, but it's on the east side of the United States, east side of the Mississippi. Well, did you know that Chikora actually is in Apalachicola? And Apalachicola, the L and the R, so many times, depending on what language the Europeans were speaking, they'd write what the Indians were saying either down as an R or an L, like many languages. It's
Irish.
It's many languages swap the R and the L or interchange those. And the Apalachicola, we know that Appalachia is used by itself. So Chicola at the end, to me, it's a really good candidate for the lost city of, what do they call it? There's other words for it. Chikora, Chipola.
Well, geologically speaking, it would give good evidence to you that North Carolina is the Tiffany Mining Company, the Tiffany Jewelry Company used Franklin, North Carolina for their rubies. And North Carolina is one of only like 7 places in the world that emeralds are produced. And in Raleigh, North Carolina, the capital of the state, is the Natural Science Museum. They have like an emerald that is like this big, multiple thousands of carats, where there have only ever been 12 to be discovered, and only one has ever gone to our state, and the rest of them were sent off to be chopped up or whatever, or to other museums. And so if we can extrapolate what we know from history is true, that when they went to Peru and they found gold, but the gold was only 50% and the other 50% was copper, then why they wouldn't have done the same thing here? If we have a quartz crystal mountain that may have been producing gold, we had gold laying around, they could have just killed and taken from anybody, and all the evidence may have been burned up, just like the books of Alexandria or the codices of the South Americans.
Right. But I bring up that Apalachicola because I'm sure you've probably heard me say that the Apalachicola area, or a little farther north in Georgia, the Georgia Gold Belt has 99% pure, closer to 100% pure gold, 24 karat naturally occurring. And Chipola, thank you, someone reminded me, Chibola is another way of saying this. Apalachicola, Chicora, right? What's the mean between the two? Apalachicola, you have plenty of quartz, like Rune Chaos here is saying, but there's also that pure gold in the ground, in the clay. You don't mine for it the same way you mine for gold out in the West Coast. It's deposited in clay and quartz. And but yeah,
this may be a tinfoil hat thing, but I was watching another person doing current events mention that there may be like some sort of a lithium mine or something like that, or
yes,
the quartz here is so special.
I was going to ask you about it. No, sorry, I interrupted. I was going to ask you about that because that's what people are saying. It's getting tossed around. I haven't seen, the source, but
from what I heard online, they need a particular kind of quartz to make a crucible, and inside of this quartz crucible you can melt a particular kind of mineral, and they're saying that the quartz is pure enough here that you can get it. But I was just talking to you about a sacred Native American mountain structure of Shining Rock, North Carolina quartz is potentially going to be stripped away in the next 30 years. But I can't neither confirm nor deny what this is true. It's just what I heard online. And dude, Hollywood, Florida, man, I found your videos through, I was in Hollywood, Florida 2 years ago. So I just wanted to put that out there.
So here, whoa, hang on, dude, you could not script this better. Look at this. Look at this. This was just an easy Google search. Just a light Google search. Look what we turned up here. Not only is this true, this is coming out of mining.com.
It's a land grab. And they said that you're only going to get $750 for your...
Holy shit. This is like monumental. This is such smoking gun.
Alongside the election disruption where those people got washed out, they can't vote. It was all flyover MAGA country and the mineral rights that were underneath of it.
Okay, so let me read off of here so we can catch the people up on this. There's a conspiracy theory that's been going around that I really didn't take too seriously. That there was a lithium battery rabbit hole about a lithium mine. I guess that's not necessarily true, but some of this was true. That there is this, rare material needed for superconductors or chips, whatever. We're going to read it. We're going to see. I don't know jack shit about it yet, but this is true. Unless this is a total like satire site where they're using bad information. This is Bloomberg News, which is bad information, but in terms of being quote unquote official, this is official information that Hurricane Helene halts quartz mines needed for chip making. Hang on. The halt in operations could affect global supply chains that depend on semiconductors to make phones, solar panels, and other technology. Holy shit. Hurricane Helene has halted North Carolina mining operations producing high purity quartz used to make silicone wafers. That's like something riffraff would say. Silicone wafers for semiconductor manufacturing. Operators Sibelco and Quartz Corporation both shut their facilities on September 26th. The companies said in separate statements, "It's too early to say when production could restart," they said. The storm severely hit the community, which is struggling with flooding and power and communication outages, and the restart of operations is a secondary concern for now. Yeah, let's just drive up the semiconductor price for a good week or so. Let Iran start sweating a little bit. Let Russia start feeling the heat before we allow Asheville some aid and get this conductor plant back up and running. Whatever. Rune Chaos, are you following along with this? You're still in here. You got to unmute.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't blasting you.
Thank you. So,
yeah.
What do you think about this? Had you heard this before? Did you know the details on this?
I was raised in a Native American museum in the Western North Carolina, so it's kind of sad to hear that that's where it's going, but that's the state of the world. So, I have heard a bit.
Do you think that there's enough of a... It seems like, I guess people thought that this was like a land grab thing. Maybe there's more articles. Maybe this is just a small piece of the story. From this article, it looks like they're talking more about driving the price up. Like, hey, there's this demand for these semiconductors. The whole world wants them. The storm's coming, so now nobody's going to be able to get them. It's kind of like what Saudi Arabia does with the oil.
Well, we extrapolate from the evidence that we know to be true so that we can take our tinfoil hats off. They already said that we need to bring semiconductor manufacturing back to America. We need to produce these materials ourselves. Mm-hmm. All of your video cards have gold on them. So all of your vapes, your disposable vapes have got gold on them. Your cell phones, all that stuff. But so yes, you can also, if you wanted to look up, people have already got offers out in the place like Chimney Rock. People are already getting offers and selling already to people, whoever the conglomerate corporations are buying the property, or if it's mining companies or development properties, or if it's, build it back better. What was the thing that build back better? Well, that requires workers and chaos and destruction. So just extrapolate the evidence that's been given to you without putting your tinfoil hat on.
Right.
Do they want to increase the price of the value of it? Sure. How, if you're implying that they're going to do that through mineral rights, or it's frightening.
Yeah, we're gonna pull up some more articles. There's probably more to this story, but I'm gonna finish reading this little piece here. The storm, and this is written by Sana Pashankar. And this was written by Sana Pashankar. And the storm severely hit the community. I can't do an Indian accent. I'm not thinking. This
Modern problems require modern solutions.
this storm severely. Let's see if I can do Osho. See if I can do Osho here. This storm severely hits the community, which is struggling. Okay, that's cringe. But I'll have one mango lassi, please. And anytime I get one of these annoying, telemarketers who's like, "Hello, this is Peter. This is Peter from Florida," right? It's like, nah. As soon as I hear the accent, I go, "One pakoda, please. Two mango lassi. Mango chutney." I start ordering Indian food. Just start saying, whatever. But the storm severely hit the community, which is struggling with flooding and power and communication outages and the restart of operations. I think I already read that one. Spruce pine.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Have you seen the video where people with their helicopters have gone to supply aid and then were turned off and said, "We will arrest you if you land your helicopter"?
Yes, I have been hearing those stories.
I'll let you read this. I'll step away for a moment.
You're all good. Spruce pine, a small. Oh, here we go. We're getting to the kind of the root of the issue here. Spruce Pine, a small town an hour north of Asheville, is among the only sites in the world. You guys catch that? Spruce Pine, a small town an hour north of Asheville, is among the only sites in the world to contain high purity quartz, which is key to making semiconductors, according to author Ed Conway, who wrote Material World: The 6 Raw Materials That Shape Modern Culture. The halt in operations could affect global supply chains that depend on semiconductors to make phones, solar panels, and other technology. The whole fucking world wants a slice of our Atlantean quartz. Right? Quartz, also, by the way, guys, quartz. You ever wonder why quartz sounds like quartz? Like you go to court, you buy a crystal, it's quartz, but you get a ticket, you have to go to court. Well, those are both ruled by Libra, quartz. Yep. So there you go. Libra rules law, and it rules quartz crystal. Quartz. You can spell it differently, but if it sounds the same, there's an astrological thread between those two words. So, Sanna Pashanga, the Houghton operations could affect. I wish I could do Indian better, but maybe you got to squat down low to the ground.
Do you watch any of Praveen Mohad's stuff?
Yeah, that guy's. He gets his. I don't have much good to say about anybody. You know me, but
allow us to say that at least he shows us things that we have not seen.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. He puts it all out there. I think he's done a ton on the Coral Castle and like most of the big attractions in Florida. But and he goes to a lot of places too. I think he does. He goes himself. I've definitely learned something from him. But
I was curious to ask you. I apologize that we went from Hinduism back to like the Middle East, but Ishtar and Inanna. Are you? I know that this doesn't have anything to do with the hurricane or anything, but
that's all right.
There was like the earliest known religion that we have is that like the goddess Ishtar Inanna was part of that group of gods in that region, correct? And
yeah, maybe.
What was she not turned into some way the whore of Babylon in the future after Christianity and the Bronze Age and everything, several thousand years afterwards?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Ishtar, Easter. Ishtar, Astarte, Easter, Ashtaroth.
And
Oh,
was
and
like,
in Native American, by the way, you'll like this one. In Seminole Indian language, or the Muskogee language of the Southeast United States, a couple languages, I don't know, but the Muskogee speaking Indians, their word for God, like the grand almighty God, I guess, the great spirit, Ishtaholo. Ishtaholo.
which we could imply extrapolates back 5,000 years to of Mesopotamia and Nippur and stuff.
Yeah. They have the headdresses that ancient Sumerian rulers were wearing. The same strimal, like Orthodox Jewish type hat. But
That leads me back to another thought. In off the coast, about 20 miles off the coast of the peninsula, the Yucatan Peninsula, is a place called Progreso, like the soup, Progreso soup can. And it's right on the northern coast. And about 20 miles of that, if you're on Google Maps and you use, where you can see the terrain, there's like a square that's about maybe 10 miles squared. And there's these dots along the north and the east of it that are like maybe 1 mile by 1 mile. And it looks like it's submerged, but it's on the continental shelf. So I would say maybe, in the Ice Age 12,000 years ago or whatever, would it not be possible that people could have been living on those places? And if it had any connection to any pyramids and temples that may have been built there by the Native Americans before white people showed up. And if you've seen it on the map, I guess is my question.
well, I'm gonna bring the next caller in here.
Yeah, I appreciate your time and attention.
Rune.
Have a beautiful night.
Of course, man. I appreciate you calling in. We'll chat more about that next time you call in. We'll chat more. Peace. Rune Chaos. Here we go. Another article about the same thing. So we're corroborating this, and that one I think was ahead of the storm, right? Kind of forecasting what might happen. This, I believe, is after the storm. We got some super chats. Drone Daddy, $9.99 sticker. Moy Freestyle, $2. I think we got to those. Logan Legacy, $1.99. Let's talk Biltmore. We'll get to you. You stay patient. We're going one by one in order here. And I bring people in, every couple of minutes or whatever. But we got 2 people in line right now. So if you're one of them, you'll be in here. The only refute of David Irving. Uh-oh. You're going to get me in trouble here. David Irving. The only refute of David Irving's work is to say he went to Florida, so he must have been gay. Why do people avoid truth versus getting money ever? Hard to decipher what you're trying to say there, but appreciate the $5. I'm a little bit of a David Irving fan. I like some of his stuff. He's smart, right? I disagree with some of his stuff, but I think he got treated terribly, poorly, unjustly, just for thinking. And he lived through it. So he's a survivor of that whole era too. That's all I'll say on that. But here, Helene took out a North Carolina town the entire tech world relies on. Logan Legacy, thanks for another 99 cents. Rich J, what's up? Do you think thanks for the $10. Do you think the Abrahamic religions could be a caste system learned from the Brahmin bros way back? Have you seen this connect? I have. I'm not an expert on that or anything, but I would say to you, go look up the Bach saga. Maybe you already know it, but check out the Bach saga, B-O-C-K saga. That'll tell you about the Abrahamic religions and the caste system, but a lot of other stuff too. A lot of weird stuff, but that's a really good book. The Linguistic Goldmine. Read it, reinterpreting the English language. Bach saga is golden, perfect. Love it. So check that out. Yeah, that's what he says, is that that Jesus came before Moses. What the Bach saga says, that Christianity came before Judaism. Somewhat. That Krishna was Christ, Christ was Krishna. And I could be wrong on that. Well, I'm not wrong, but I'm generalizing, and I'm summarizing and skipping over a lot. But Bach saga is very cool if you want to look into a non-schizo, not like doomer, anti-Christian. If you want to get a honest take on Christianity's origins, Brahmin origins, go look at the Bach saga. Yep. So, very interesting take on ancient history. We'll say that. It's a mouthful. We'll say that. So, what else we got? Helene took out a North Carolina town the entire tech world relies on. So there's a lot to this semiconductor conspiracy theory. It's not just a theory. There's truth to it. Just how much it was intentional, right? How much of this was directed towards this town. So one western North Carolina town reeling from Tropical Storm Helene could impact the massive global semiconductor industry. Remember, they use those on missiles, I believe, too. They use that on those. They use those on everything. The drones, probably lots of war in that industry, too. Why it matters. Spruce pine is one of the only places in the world to mine high purity quartz. The mineral is an essential ingredient of chips in countless products, including medical devices, solar panels, cell phones, and the chips powering the latest tech craze, artificial intelligence. Context. It's difficult to underscore the significance of Spruce Pine, a town of about 2,000 people, known for its charming downtown and blossoming art scene, to the global economy. Economics editor Ed Conway put it best in his 2023 book, Material World, writing, quote, "It is rare, unheard of almost, for a single site to control the global supply of a crucial material. Yet if you want to get high purity quartz, the kind you need to make those crucibles, without which you can't make silicone wafers, it has to come from spruce pine." Okay, I'm going to do a video on this. The Quartz Corp and Sibelco both export high purity quartz from spruce pine, while there are other places to find the material, such as Russia and Brazil. This mountain town has the highest quantity of the highest purity, says Conway. Threat level. A few weeks of shutdown is not the end of the world, Conway tells Axios. However, longer than that could put the industry into another crisis. The semiconductor industry would need to find alternatives. Flashback. The pandemic sparked a stressful global chip shortage. Demand for computers boomed, making it difficult to keep products like iPads and game consoles on shelves, and car dealership lots stocked. But long-term mine closures or export delays in spruce pine would be a supply problem, a much graver issue for the economy to stomach. The big picture. The Southwest will feel the impacts of Helene for decades. It will take years to rebuild towns, including downtown Spruce Pine across 6 states. The rising death toll has surpassed 130. I think people are saying that there's 1,000 people missing, maybe more. The mines in Spruce Pine are still accounting for their workers and families, the international company stated. The level of destruction at the sites is unknown. However, even if the facilities are intact, the railroads that move the quartz will likely need drastic repairs. The Quartz Corp and Sibelco temporarily halted operations on September 26th. Neither has said when they may restart. This is second order of priority, the Quartz Corp said in a statement. Our top priority remains the health and safety of our employees and their families. Zoom out. Demand for Spruce Pines quartz has exploded over the past several decades. Sibelco is investing an estimated $600 million to expand production at the site, which increased 60% between 2019 and 2023. Hang on, I lost my... Blah, blah, blah. The AI spike is what I've been hearing people call it, says Spencer Bost. You guys can hear me okay, right? Yeah, looks good. The AI spike is what I've been hearing people call it, says Spencer Bost, Executive Director of Downtown Spruce Pine, an economic development organization. Between the lines, the quartz mining industry is highly selective, which may prevent an understanding of the extent of the problem for a while. Sorry, highly secretive. Sorry, guys. This is a little bit far away. Cut me some slack on this. Oof. Oof. All right, I'm going to finish this. We'll take some more callers. Conway wrote in his book that outside contractors are taken into the Sibelco factory, blindfolded to the machine they need to fix. Holy shit. Conway wrote in his book that outside contractors are taken into the Sibelco factory, blindfolded to the machine they need to fix. State lawmakers discussed banning adversary countries from taking ownership of quartz mines or land last year, according to Business North Carolina. Look at this. I assume this is spruce pine. What's left over? Look at that. Looks like a mailbox. Well, sunken semiconductors. That Atlantean quartz is sunken. Safe to say. Oh, God. Australian money? Oh, God. Just kidding, man. Vaughn, what's up? Thanks for the 20 Aussie dollars. No shortage. Hurricanes, an excuse to slow supply and focus setting up AI. NVIDIA and Intel have gone underground on AI lately. Good point. Good point. Appreciate the 20 Aussie bucks. Little Tree, how you doing, man?
Hey, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You sound good. Where are you calling us out of?
I'm in Port Charlotte, Florida.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Good spot. What can we do for you tonight?
Well, I just wanted to make a few comments in the storm. Then I had a quick story that you guys might get a kick out of.
Totes. What's
Very
that?
quick. But on the storm, they were calling for it. I've been watching storms my whole life, between surfing and being a carpenter up in Maine and this and that. And I've been tracking these storms, and they were telling us in this area here we're going to get a storm surge between 3 and 5 feet. And I've got a boat in the canal and stuff, and I'm pretty far up a canal. And the last night there, the storm had gone by us, and we didn't get any rain the day of the storm. When it was, we didn't get any rain at all the whole day. But that night, I happened to look outside, and my boat was hanging off my lift because my boat was up about 6.5 feet on the lift. So they didn't call the storm surge right in this area anyway. And, I just feel that storm had gathered a lot more energy than they were telling us before, it went by us, because of the fetch of the way, it throws the swells and the amount of water that was between us and it. It had a chance to, build some water up and throw it in here. And I think that was a major mistake by these guys. I don't know why they didn't warn us more. Like Fort Myers got nailed. A lot of people got nailed, and they shouldn't have. They should have been, they didn't think it was going to be anything. So that was really, a bad call on that, that part of it. And as far as the, I know you're aware of all the geoengineering stuff.
Sure.
And they've got the frequency generating stations over in Puerto Rico off of one of those bases. They got them down in Western Australia. They can break these storms up, or at least direct them to go around areas by frequency. So why aren't they using some of that to direct these storms away from us instead of right up through the central casting of population? It just doesn't make sense. I mean,
Right.
it was, I've been tracking this stuff for a long time, and I go on the NEDIS government NOAA,
Right.
satellites, and I see what they're doing. They're just peppering us everywhere. So we're breathing it. We're paying the price. What are you gonna do?
Are you a Leo or are you a Taurus?
I am a Cancer.
Fuck.
I'm on the cusp, July 21st.
That's pretty close to Leo.
Yeah.
Pretty dang close to Leo.
Yeah.
And Cancer is in between Leo and Taurus, but
All right. So yeah, I'm a Cancer by rights, I guess, but a lot of Leo on me too, I guess. I'm a water man.
should have guessed the tree from the tree name, little tree.
Yeah.
Cancers have the green thumb.
Right. I have like 450 bonsai trees in development right now.
Oh, amazing.
So,
total Cancer. Grow.
Yeah, and I've had gardens my whole life, all natural gardens up in Maine. Down here, you can't grow vegetables that well, but I've got mangoes, I've got avocados, I've got just about everything here, plums, and But I'm 69 years old, so I'm trying to slow down a little bit.
You look tremendous.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I had a little story about when my wife and I were up in Maine. That's where I'm from, Old Orchard Beach, Maine.
Totes.
And we were. It was late summer, and I was going to do some fly fishing up in the mountains. So we head up in the mountains and to this one area we like, and I don't want to say the name because it's a military base up there, secret military base. And so we're going down this paper road, which is a tote road, and going out in the middle of nowhere for all the paper trucks, And all of a sudden I see this old beaten road that I've never noticed before. So I take my 59 wagon down there, Chevy wagon, and we go for a while, and I find this washed out bridge on the mountain stream, the nice pool. So here I am fly fishing this deep pool, on the other side. And I was like, boy, what a great spot. I can't believe we've never found this. So I got a couple good belts, and all of a sudden I just started feeling kind of strange. And I noticed the sounds around me were kind of like a tinny, hollow sound. And I just started feeling real uneasy. We had our German Shepherd with us. And he was freaking out for some reason. I didn't know. My wife was up in the car. And finally, I just felt, I don't know if there was a bear and cubs or whatever. I didn't know. So I said, I'm going to take a break and go up. So my wife was kind of scared. She says, the dog's freaking out. I don't know what's going on. So we head back down this trail and we stop to take a leak. Right? We get out of the truck and get out of the car. And all of a sudden we look off to our right and we didn't know it, but we're on the side of an edge of a mountain. And there's a Harrier with a pilot looking right at us, 25 feet away.
With a what looking right at you?
A Harrier jet. And this is before
Harrier
Harrier.
jet. Okay. Yeah.
So this is before they were out. This
Is that the one is that the one that can hover?
Yeah, the Navy jet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with a real pony nose and all this, So we're like, wow. So I'm giving the thumbs up and all this stuff. And well, we went back to the campsite, but listen to this.
Yeah, it's a Harrier.
Harrier. Yeah. Well, if you want down east accent, I can do that real well, by God. Yeah. But anyway, so we didn't remember this for 5 years.
Right.
We had no recollection of it. We went back to the campsite. My parents happened to be up there with their camper. We never mentioned it to them, never said a word. And 5 years later, we were at my parents' house. I was over there for a barbecue. And we're sitting at the table, and it was like around the same week. And I look at my wife, and I says, hey, do you remember that jet? And she looks at me and goes, yeah, I do. You up in Rainside? I says, yeah. So we were telling my parents about it, and they're both looking at us like, yeah, what are you smoking today, and all this. And so, it was strange. I always thought, why did we lose our memory for approximately 5 years? I mean, would have ran back to the campsite? You wouldn't believe what we saw, But
you lost. Hang on, you lost your memory for 5 years, or
we didn't remember it.
We didn't. Okay.
We didn't remember it. We didn't say anything when we went back. And I never, within those 5 years, I think I had been up to Rangeley twice, and I never even looked for that road. I've been up there fishing with my buddies and stuff in the spring, and I had never even looked for that road. But like I say, 5 years later, we're sitting at my parents' table, boom, it came back to me, and then it came back to her. So, I mean.
Did you say you were sitting at your parents' table, or you were shitting your pants?
No, I was sitting at my parents' table.
That's what I thought you said.
I gotta get this lozenge out of my mouth.
Okay. Lozenge, that's the culprit.
Lozenge, yeah. Sorry about that. I was trying to hurry up and suck it dry, but it just wasn't going. Yeah, but anyway, yeah. So yeah, we were sitting there 5 years later, and it was the same time of year, and all of a sudden, it just popped into my head. We might have been talking about Rangeley or whatever, and there goes the name right there. So, yeah, there is a military base up there, and you'll be up there fly fishing or something, and in a pond or whatever in a canoe, and all of a sudden you'll have a freaking jet come, right over you. I mean, all the moose that are, they all just look up like, oh, another one of those, So yeah, but basically,
music to my ears.
Yeah,
moose.
So basically, I always wondered about what the heck happened in that 5 years. How come we didn't remember it? And I haven't told it to too many people. But it's a true story, and I'm not,
That's crazy, man.
Here,
yeah, can I tell you a little story? It's not really a story, but when I went to college in the Keys, there was a Coast Guard base and a Navy base over there, naval base. And Harrier jets used to fly over my college when I went there. And when you see them hovering, slowing down, it's the trippiest thing. Doing it over the water when you can see, man, that was crazy. But
yeah, they got some power. The thing is, we couldn't hear it. We didn't hear any sound because the exhaust was going down the cliff.
Totes.
You know what I mean?
Well,
he came straight up and just stopped and was hovering, in air. which was a cliff, which we didn't know. So I don't know if there might have been an entrance below. I don't know. You know, there's a military base up there, but I don't. You know, you don't know where it is. I mean,
Yeah.
it's in the it's in the area of Deer Mountain, but you know,
That's
it's,
crazy.
You know, nobody knows. You know,
Who you got, Trump or Kamala?
Trump all the way, baby, MAGA.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We got to do something with this country, man. It's ready to, you know, explode.
Too many Kamalas. I got Kamalas blowing up my phone talking about insurance, warranties, you know.
Yeah.
You got enough Kamalas in the country.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, it's just I never thought in my lifetime, you know, in my 69 years that I'd never see America in this condition it's in right now. Pretty sad. I mean, you know, don't get me wrong. I'm not, you know, down on America or anything. I love my country, and
Right.
you know, I'd do anything to help. You know? But it just, I know personally, I think it's some kind of a test to wake people up or to, you know, I mean, everything that's happened is just so ridiculous. I mean, how can America let this happen to an administration to totally mess everything up they do?
We'll be okay.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We'll be all right.
Yeah, and we'll be all right.
Hey, little trees, little tree.
Yeah,
Rick,
Rick Hansen. I'm on the YouTube. I'm Rick Hansen. So
oh, you're on
Hansen.
YouTube? You want to shout out? You want to shout out your YouTube?
Richard Hansen is my just my what I am on YouTube. You know, I don't have any videos or anything. I'm going to start making some on-site videos on, you know, how to maintain them, how to develop all that stuff. You know.
Hell yeah, that's sick. Tranquil.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice work. All right, peace, brother.
You have a good night.
Yeah, take care of yourself.
Rick.
Yeah.
Nice.
Rick.
Good night, Rick.
All right. Have a good one. Great stuff.
Thank you, man. Stay safe. Yo, Rich. We had Rick. Now we have Rich. What's up, Rich? How you doing?
Yeah, I am also Rick. Yes.
Where are you calling us out of tonight?
Have you ever heard of the drift list, my friend?
Drift less or drift list?
So the drift list area of the United States.
Right.
So it is an area as big as it's giant. It's in the Midwest. So it's Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa. We don't like to claim very much of Illinois unless we're going over there to buy bud, but a little bit of it covers that area. So the driftless area is an anomaly. Supposedly, we had 3 glaciers that just didn't hit us, right? And the flora and fauna is different up here.
Right.
It's literally in the shape kind of a vag, actually, if you look at it. It's hilarious.
The landmass?
So the landmass is basically like Minneapolis. If you look from Minneapolis down.
Well, all of Minneapolis looks like a vag.
It's all pink on the inside, brother. So when you look at this place, though, there is such difference. Yeah, I think there's some serious. I don't know. It probably doesn't necessarily rival Florida in terms of it's not Atlantis or nothing, but there's something definitely fucking crazy about this place, man.
Shall I make a YouTube video on it? You have a YouTube channel?
No, I don't do it. I won't. But I'll come on here. I'll talk to you.
Have you called in before or your first time?
This is my first time, buddy.
Nice. Very good.
So I'm up here just I don't know.
What do you think of the storm? Fake, real, directed?
Even if it's real, it's fake. I mean, did they pump it up? Is there no way to, it's fake. It's so everybody, oh my God, it's horrible. So we need more government, right? But then they're pissed off because there's not enough government. And then when they have government, then they're stealing the shit. So,
Good point.
you know what I mean? We're always cocked. And we're cocked unless we're strong in our own being. And how does that arrive, and when and at what point in your life? And we're always weak at some point. And one thing that would be incredible. So look at the 4 billion chestnut trees.
What sign are you? Are you a Gemini?
Bro, I'm a Libra.
Oh, okay. But you're an air sign.
I'm a Libra, and so like immediately when the leaves turn, I start getting weird because weird shit happens to me and bad shit. I always got to keep my head on a swivel when it's in Libra or Scorpio for some reason. And I don't know. I'll consult Robert on that, Mr.
Nice.
Phoenix. But yeah, in terms of like the catastrophes, especially in the mountain areas, is it global warming? Oh God. So immediately you're cucked, like every way they look at it. And no, I don't think it's any of that. It's definite problems, but they're going to exacerbate it definitely with the gov. So I'm not. Right. I think we're on the same wavelength,
Nice. Pretty hard. Pretty hard.
So, brother, I'm up in the upper Midwest, up in the driftless area. I don't know if you've ever researched this, but we have some very interesting mounds. Definite decodes, tons of stuff up here. Really cool area. So it's kind of like where cornfields and all the bullshit, it just stops and it becomes beautiful.
So you ever heard of this? You ever heard of this semiconductor stuff?
Go ahead.
Had you heard of this conspiracy theory about the semiconductors?
Which ones? And I mean, I've been in it since like 2008. I mean, I'm
been in what?
Just alternative thought.
Okay. But you've heard about this, how Storm, how they want the lithium. What are they? I started reading, it was lithium, then we read the articles, turned out to be quartz. It's all about the quartz. But the semiconductors, you ever heard of this? Did you hear about this at all when the storm was happening, or since, or is this the first you're hearing of it?
This is the first I'm hearing of it, although I can tell you something.
Right.
That's from here. There is a layer. Okay, so there is a layer when I go hiking and when we go trout fishing, there is a layer that is consistent throughout these hills. That is quartz. Everything else is limestone, and there is about 2 or 3 inches of quartz. And in some places, it's all dug out. Like the old miners thought, oh, it's quartz, there's gold. Fuck, let's dig that shit out. And it goes down. It is a layer. Okay. And I've seen it consistent. And so I don't know how that applies really to my area, but I'm just saying.
Make some YouTube videos on it, man. Piece it together. You're getting there, dude. You'll you know, you gotta build your little whiteboard to connect all the dots in the yarn, and you'll figure it out. But
That's fine. I'm cool being mysterious. It's what it is. What it is.
totes.
I'll call in with my
do
bibs.
you have your backpack on inside?
No, these are called bibs. I'm from the Midwest.
Okay.
Your back hurts sometimes. You know, you got to do stuff.
My bad. Are those like waders or what's?
No, my waders would be green. My waders would be green, and it would be waterproof. But yeah, dude, I got like it's a 4-wheeler ride to go get trout and shit. Like, it's not a
Nice.
bad life.
Yeah, man. Sounds good. But you're all safe from the hurricane, right? Didn't even come close to you, really?
No, I was not calling in about the hurricane. I just I'm first time caller, just saying what up, Longo. You rock.
You're good, man. Don't worry. What's your favorite video? How about that?
The one where you smoked the bong in where was that? Down in you're in not in Sarasota. It was I'm not a Florida guy. It was
Punta Gorda.
Punta Gorda. Yeah. And you turned into
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence. Exactly.
Yeah. Shout out to Chase, his brother, fan of the show.
Oh, nice, man.
Yeah.
Cool. Very funny.
Talented painter, artist.
Yeah, man. Longo, you rock. So maybe you encourage and help other people with just their alternative thought about stuff. And, you know, in a way, yeah, I mean, I've been on this shit forever, but even your tidbits, holy shit, helped me a lot. I hope the whole community looks at things different. I mean, even when I was hiking up and saw that quartz, like that is there's something happened there, and it is broad and it is fucking vast, and there's a layer, and I don't know if I can even I don't know, I can't explain it, but
don't worry, man, you're all good. But here, I'm gonna bring in the next guest here. We're gonna wind it down anyway.
All right.
Rich, appreciate you calling in.
No worries.
Toads, dude. What was your zodiac sign?
I'm a Libra, man.
Yes, right. Sorry, you mentioned that. Sorry. My bad. Do you know your others? You know your ascendant?
I know. God, did Robert mention something about a true node in Aries?
Okay,
The other day.
That's too niche. Don't worry.
It's too niche. Yeah. Whatever.
But Rich, hope you're calling again, man. You have a good night. Appreciate you. Peace. We got a female. Oh, Jesus. Hopefully, maybe. Fingers crossed.
No.
Jesus Christ. Whatever. What's up, Leavra? How do you say it, man?
The first way, Libra.
Libra, nice. Like Libra, almost.
Exactly.
Right, like Libra's getting married, but Livra's like getting divorced.
Yeah. Two sides.
Where are you calling in from, man?
California.
Nice. Have you ever called in before?
Yeah.
Yes, you sounded familiar.
Yeah.
What's up, dude? How about that hurricane? How about the weather, man? What's up with this weather?
I mean, we have pretty good weather here, so we don't have to worry about that on the West Coast.
You guys have no weather there because it's a land of.
Some would say perfect, but we'll start with no. We'll bridge the
No
gap
weather.
between the coasts.
You guys have no weather because of all the adrenochrome, dark Kali magic.
Maybe in Hollywood, but not. I mean, not where I live. It's pretty chill. But have you been to California before?
Yeah, one time in like the thick of COVID, so not a good glimpse.
No. That's not a good time. Everyone was going to Florida during COVID because it was open. I thought about
Yep.
going, but I went to Texas because I have family there, and it was like it was like a whole different place compared here because we had lockdowns pretty bad, so it sucked. But yeah, I don't know. But I mean, for sure, I agree with like most people. Like politically, California sucks, but like we have the best weather, we have the best woman, we have the best food, the best beaches, the climate. I mean, we've got everything except politics. You guys got me on politics. We suck at policy, but I don't know. I think we're pretty cool. But that's just me.
You
just
came
me.
in just to start East Coast, West Coast beef.
No, not really, not really. I just knew it'd probably give me a spot higher up. But no, I mean, I definitely like California gets a lot of hate, and I never see anyone from California here, so feel free to criticize us. I'm open.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. The weather's pretty bad there, which could be due to lots of black magic there. I mean, we don't really get any of that type of stuff here. The worst weather we have on the West Coast is like up in Portland where it just rains all the time and then like snow, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, what do you know?
Well, I know that all the ports are about to be on strike,
Oh, good
and
point.
they were like talking about how that's going to cripple the country, and then like I saw like because I live near like Silicon Valley, and like they're so nerdy, and they're like, oh, we could just automate everything, and like these, it's like no, you can't just automate everything. Like you actually need people to unload the shipments and check they think AI is just going to solve everything, and that's ridiculous. But like they're just like too nerdy. Like if you ever meet someone from Silicon Valley, like it's honestly so embarrassing to talk to them because they're just like the virgins who like thought they were too smart for like women and stuff, and like they just like they're just but
They
but no, I mean,
use now you're talking about gay eye.
there we
This
go. There we go.
the gay eye Silicon Valley dating app that hooks you up with other dorky incels. But go ahead.
Wait. They actually have an AI like the thing like that does that?
No, no,
Oh,
no, no. We can
but
make
yeah,
it though.
I'll let them make that but the problem is even if they match, they're like too shut in to even like leave their house because they're just at the computer all day ordering their like prosthetic woman to, you know what I mean? Like they have nothing going for themselves. But damn, I was making a connection. Oh, right. So Age of Pisces is the water sign, obviously,
Right.
and that most of our most of our trade is through the water, and I believe
Yeah.
like our law, U.S. law, is based off of maritime law. So perhaps we're transitioning. That's like a sign of transitioning to Aquarius. That we're doing more like, well, one, decentralization is a part of that. So less international trading, more local, and like even in California, they're passing laws to like break up the meat monopolies, like the beef monopolies. So the stores have to buy locally sourced meat, which is way healthier. So there's like a lot of decentralization happening.
Well,
very quickly.
That's crazy. I didn't know adrenochrome could be. I didn't know that there was healthier versions.
Yeah, there's a spectrum to everything.
Good point.
But so are you like completely vegan, or do you eat, or are you vegetarian?
I'm a vegetarian, but
Okay.
when your mom comes around, I'll eat whatever she puts down on the plate.
Likewise. All right.
Only teasing. But
Yeah.
no, yeah, I'm a
totally.
vegetarian. I'm a
All right.
vegetarian. I was vegan for 5 years, which is like hardcore vegan. But I'm just a
Okay.
vegetarian. I don't do eggs. No eggs. No
So
fish.
what do you do? Like cheese?
Vegetables, fruits. I love potatoes. I love orange juice. Orange juice is the first thing that hits my stomach almost every day.
I know, but that's all vegan. I'm saying like what like vegetarian stuff do you do?
Yeah, I'll do some cheese.
Okay.
I don't like milk. I don't drink milk. I don't care if it's the rawest raw milk in the world. That
Uh-huh.
stuff is still garbage to me.
Okay.
We're not baby cows. The raw milk, any type of milk will make you fat, puffy, red, inflamed.
Really? Have you had goat
That's
milk?
I haven't drank much goat milk. I've had goat cheese, but
All right.
raw milk, of course, it's better than milk,
For sure.
but
For sure. For sure.
still cheese, I believe cheese is more tempered to the human body. I believe that the raw discharge, the raw lactation of the
Yeah.
cow is really programmed for a baby cow that wants to grow into a 1,000 pound, eating machine.
Sure.
Humans are, 200 pounds max for an average height. You shouldn't be much heavier than that, really. But
Okay. Okay. I totally agree. But
when,
like, let's think about this. You know how you have all those videos on giants and stuff?
yes,
What were they eating? Do you think they're eating raw milk and stuff to get that
they
big?
they definitely didn't have raw milk, the ones in America, because the cow didn't come until 1513. So maybe they had a prehistoric cow way back when.
Yeah.
Maybe. But I have seen an article that they were milking only one, so don't put all your eggs in this basket.
All
Don't go ordering sloth milk. But
right.
I've seen one article that talks about how the giants in America might have, in Florida particularly, might have
Yeah.
been milking giant sloths
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
drinking that milk.
Or goat milk, because goats have been in America ever for always.
No,
No?
I don't. There haven't been goats in Florida, to my knowledge.
In
There's no.
Florida. But Florida's
Yeah,
not the only state in America. You know that.
you're right, but I could be wrong. But
Yeah.
it would probably
Yeah.
be like a mountain goat or something over in Yosemite. But even some of those are invasive, so there might.
Yeah. I
I don't
mean,
know. Southeast United States, I don't think goats are native. I don't think the ram's native either. Definitely no sheep, cow,
mm,
pig, or chicken in those giant 300-year-old Native American diets. They were eating fruit, corn, a lot of corn. Corn was
yeah, for sure.
number
Yeah.
one in but
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So I'm glad you brought up corn. Do you know about the Tarahumara tribe in Mexico?
Terra Tamara, how do you say it?
Humara.
No, not
So
familiar.
they run for like hundreds and hundreds of miles at a time, and like these ultra marathon runners, like he stumbled upon them and he was like, "Bro, why aren't you running ultra marathons?" Like, what are you talking about? Like, we just run for fun. Like they put him in and they were doing super good, but they drink like this special potion or whatever they make. I think it's made out of like raw local corn and like some other things. And they're like, yeah, we drink this potion and it gives us like the endurance to run for hundreds of miles. And it's just like
Yes.
insane how they like, if
Yeah.
you eat like so natural and so local to your environment and they're so in tune to their climate, it's like, it's so crazy. And then like their biomechanics for running is just like perfect. Like they're running perfectly efficient. It's so wild. It's amazing.
Right. Yeah, I've heard that the Seminoles were known. They weren't necessarily a running culture, but they were very mobile, very fast.
Yeah.
Maybe they were good runners. I just don't know.
Probably.
But they had children, and the men would make their children carry a lot of their stuff for them. And there's this one story about a kid who walked dozens and dozens of miles with all this heavy weight with a dead deer on his back too. He's got a heavy rifle, and he walked dozens and dozens of miles, a two-way trip, and then added another stop to it just for fun.
I
Like-
agree. I'm sure that happened because like especially these people are born running without shoes too. So like once you start wearing shoes and insoles, like that ruins your biomechanics.
They drank. You bring up the corn. They drink, or we brought it up, whatever. But you mentioned the corn drink. the Seminoles, they drank something called Sofka. Sofka was a corn drink. Right across the street here, there's a Peruvian restaurant. They do a purple corn drink too.
Ooh, sounds good.
That's pretty good. It's like Christmas flavored, like all
Ooh.
the Christmas.
Like what? Like cinnamon and stuff.
Yeah, cinnamon and what's the other one? Like cardamom and
Coriander. Wait, is coriander part of it? I don't know.
I don't know, nutmeg or some shit. All those just Christmas flavor. It's
Yeah. Oh yeah, nutmeg. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
But they drink a purple corn juice over there. That stuff's pretty good. I've had it. And the Spanish, when they showed up in America, in the Southeast United States. Yeah, I do know there's more states than Florida, Brad. When they showed up in the Southeast United States, they started in Florida, then they went around the Gulf, and they started having to feed their horses what they were, coming across. They ran out of their oats and shit.
Yeah.
And they were largely feeding their horses acorns from oak trees. But corn was the desired food. So when they gave their horses corn, which was a superfood back then.
Yeah.
And I think the variety they were eating, you could bite right through it. Like you could bite through the middle stalk. And they would feed it to their horses. And they said their horses would run twice as far on half the fuel.
Yeah. All the corn growing around me is like stuff that's like you'll break your teeth if you bite it. Like I think it just goes straight to like.
Yeah.
But we feed our animals corn too, but it's probably like I don't know, but
corn fed. Who knows what corn fed means?
Nebraska, right? That's like corn huskers.
That's like when we were playing sports. I guess it means fat, but when we were playing sports,
it's when like you stocky.
Said, yeah, when you said someone was corn fed, that means like they were big, burly.
Yeah.
Like, I guess some people say that means fat, but for us, that was like, man, these people are well nourished. Like, when I think of a big, burly NFL player, believe it or not, it's not the dairy that's getting him there. People say, oh, dairy farmers are big and strong. You ever see a corn farmer? Corn families send their kids to the NFL.
It's true. Yeah.
It's true. They do way. You know how many beef farms there are out there in the world that are just eating beef and drinking milk? They don't excel like you see corn eaters do. You know that you can eat whatever and make it to the NFL. There's proof of that all over. You can eat gummy bears all day.
Yeah, I just saw that documentary. Yeah.
You can eat vegan gummy bears all day. There's a player who eats gummy bears all day and excels in the NFL. And so, the human body at the end of the day, it's like a cruise ship. As long as the fuel you're throwing in there burns hot enough to keep the machine going, you can perform at almost any type of athletic level if you're burning that hot enough. But in terms of nutrition, in terms of organ health, then you have to care about what you're eating. Some people say, oh, well, I do great in the gym. Why would I switch anything? Well, go look at wrestling to see how long the gym alone will get you, Not you, I'm talking to people out there. But
no, I know what you mean, but like I found the higher quality meat I started eating, the less I wanted. Like I got more out of it, and then I started filling it up with more vegetables and stuff. But like also too, like these people who are like carnivore diet or like these like very like specific diets, I'm pretty sure they're just saying that to be controversial and to get views. But it's like I don't even like pay attention to them anymore. But like I know some like the vegan diet works for some people and for some it doesn't. It
works for everybody. It works for everybody. I've
tried going vegan and it didn't last long, to be honest.
Well,
I couldn't.
Vegan's extreme. Vegan's like exclusionary. Vegan, I use the word vegan sometimes because it's easier, but vegan means you're worried about excluding things from your diet, right? To me, you've got to be a holistic, veggie loving, adrenochrome hating. It can't just be guilt. It can't just be, oh, I feel bad for the cows or this or that. If you know that's the choice you want to make, your body will thank you every second for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I mean, but also some like to me, I feel like you just want to be more in tune with your environment, and like sometimes like being vegan or eating meat for like other on the other side just doesn't like I'll say so the meat stuff too, like a lot of the meat, or at least the ones I raise, are like pasture raised or like super high quality, like at
Right.
least in my book, like that the factory farming meat is just like super bad. Like all those cows are super depressed, and
Sure.
you could taste that. This is gonna sound ridiculous, but you can like almost taste that depression through the meat if you had like super like high quality meat. I know that sounds crazy, but like if you ever like or at least like watch videos of like those farms,
Mhm.
they like those animals look like they just want like to be put down. Like they're so depressed in the environments they live in. It's miserable.
Absolutely.
And same with the vegetables. I don't know if they feel anything, but their quality of like their soil just gets like used over and over and over again. It's just like they're pumped full of these chemicals, and they're just like the soil is just like, bro, it's so bad for the product. Like,
Right. Well, that's why it's good to err on the side of fruit.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Fruit
yeah,
fruit will do everything in its power to keep the toxins out of the flesh.
yeah.
It has the rind, it has its own immune system, it's a living food. But here, I'll tell you, man, it's good to seek out cleaner food, right?
For sure, for sure.
But I would argue it's my obligation, it's my duty
Yeah,
here on earth to tell everyone there's nothing clean or choicey about a dead carcass.
I mean,
The cleanest clean, the grass fed doesn't mean jack shit, by the way. I'm sure you know that. Pasture raised,
oh, like the
all
labels.
these
Yeah,
terms. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
grass. You can grass feed a factory,
Right, right.
operation too. You can.
They trick you with those labels. Like they're hella.
Yeah,
They're
we've
deceiving. They're super deceiving.
we've got to remember back 2,000 years ago, Jesus wasn't preaching out against, uh, you know, factory farming. Well, he kind of was,
I
but
mean,
he
yeah.
wasn't shocked. He wasn't shocked by the butchery of today. He was shocked by the butchery of 2,000 years ago. And back then, they never even heard of a GMO. They never even heard of a toxin. They never even heard of pasture raised, grain fed. It was all organic. It was all pure and clean back then in
Yeah,
terms of
yeah.
carnivore diet. Well, back then, when Jesus came to correct that whole nastiness, okay, it wasn't a grass fed issue, it was an adrenochrome issue.
You
The
think
human
so?
body, absolutely, the human body. Remember, Jesus flipped the tables not on the money changers alone, but the on the
Okay, okay.
butchers. It was
I'm
the
with you on
butchers,
that. I'm with you on
the
that. But
shambles.
do you think he was vegan his entire life, or just he went periods where he's vegan or vegetarian?
Jesus was certainly a vegetarian. There is a single instance when he has already dead and risen,
Mm-hmm.
when his followers, to test him, um, dropped a piece of what's said to be, in a couple translations, broiled fish. Jesus never ate fish.
All right.
They
All right.
dropped a piece of fish on his tongue after he had as a ghost he had reappeared, and they
Yeah.
wanted to make sure that he really was made of atoms. So
Mm-hmm.
they dropped the food that they had closest on hand onto his tongue, and lo and behold, he was real.
Okay. Okay.
He could chew the food.
Fair enough.
He never
Fair
ate
enough.
he never ate the Passover lamb. There's multiple instances of saying no lamb needed. I am the sacrifice. Spirit alone, good deeds alone, faith in God alone is
I'm
the
with you.
sacrifice.
I got you,
He
man.
never ate fish as a living soul.
Okay.
So no lamb, no fish.
All right. All right.
Well, you asked, and it needs to be said. James, the brother of Jesus,
Yeah.
was raised from birth as a vegetarian. Same
Mhm.
parents as Jesus. So Jesus, we can deduce, was also
Okay.
vegetarian.
Okay.
Well, hang on. This is not
No, I
at
know. I
you.
like
This
what
is
you're
for
saying.
everyone.
I just
Here.
yeah.
No, it's
I just
okay.
wanted-
You got to hear it. I had to listen to your grass-fed fucking mumbo jumbo.
All right. All right.
Okay, here. James, the brother of Jesus. James, the brother of Jesus, was raised a vegetarian. We know that.
Mhm.
Every single one of the major Christian early church fathers accepted James was a vegetarian. Not only that, James had his own sect of Christianity, one of the earliest, truest, depending on your form of Christianity.
Mhm.
James, the brother of Jesus, had his own little group going, and that particular group firmly believed that all instances of animal sacrifice in the Old Testament had been infiltrations of Babylonian blood magic
Mhm.
into the sacred scriptures, and that not only were they vegetarian as a group, as an early group of practicing Christians, but they also denounced all forms of blood sacrifice and said it never even happened. Essentially, the Babylonians, the Khazarians, made it up. That's the
Yeah.
adrenochrome blood magic system that they're trying to kick off
Yeah.
in Israel today at the temple of the new temple.
Oh
So
yeah. Solomon's
Jesus
temple.
came to correct blood. It wasn't greed, lust, anger, any of this that brought Jesus to the world 2,000 years ago. Do you know what it was? 2,000 years ago, the most sacred place in the world, it was said, was the temple on Jerusalem.
Mm.
In its heyday, right before Jesus arrived, it was common on any given day to see blood trickling down the steps, pouring out of the building, piped out of
shit.
the building.
Damn.
Because the system of magic, people don't know what we're walking into. People don't know what we're up against. People think it's just, eat what's good for you. And nutrition is everyone's choice. No,
Mhm.
your nutrition, your diet is what team you're on. If you are
Yeah.
eating
Yeah.
flesh, you are team adrenochrome.
Yeah.
You
I
are
would agree.
yeah, I have friends. I grew up eating meat. I'm not trying to exclude myself from that. I'm just saying that pick your side carefully. The early
Yeah.
Christians knew they
Yeah.
had to get rid of that choice of food, regardless of how well the animal was treated. It wasn't a matter of, oh,
Mhm.
well, they shouldn't be treated this badly. It was, this food does not belong in the human body. Jesus returned us to a Genesis standard. When he quoted Genesis, we know he quoted Genesis very often because some of his most well quoted, well remembered sayings, like about a wife. I think one of his first teachings in order of the Gospels is, divorce is not acceptable. That just because there's been a technicality in the law where you can get out of it, I don't agree. And he cites Genesis as the standard that man will be judged on, not the laws of Exodus, Leviticus, or any of that. Jesus held us to the Genesis standard. He said, he or somebody else, he or one of his followers said, cursed be the scribes. Cursed be the people who wrote all this down because they worked all their blood magic into it. He came back, he hit them with the pure scripture. Within, 50 years, 20 years of his death, that temple was crushed and crumbled to the ground.
Mm.
And they still worship its blood-crusted stones in the streets of Jerusalem today.
Mm.
That's the dark magic we're up against. That's the dark magic behind the adrenochrome diet. There's nothing natural about the meat diet. Mankind was created vegetarian. It's the healthy diet. All can take part in it. All can enjoy it. You and others would have an easier time adjusting and switching over fully, because we have to take special care to remove our parasites when we're getting off meat, because meat is not a natural not a natural craving for a human. When a human craves meat, we know that there's something bad going on in that body. We know that parasites have overridden the immune system. We know that mankind's natural cravings for fruit and sour and sweet and tangy and fresh, full of electricity, that those are being weakened, and that there's a new foreign, predatory craving being introduced by the worms in our digestive tract, because they would normally live in a predator. They would normally live in a meat-eating, flesh-eating animal, and they love the carnage. They reproduce in the carnage and the decay of flesh. So they need a human to eat that, or else we're useless to them. In an alkaline system, fruit and vegetables and clean water, no parasites are allowed. They can't take hold. They need a corpse diet. They need an alcohol diet. And this is the ultimate conspiracy theory, is nutrition. So as much as green pastures and grass-fed matters, it's still a dead corpse getting shoveled into a Lamborghini.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I agree. Like, but isn't the Jesus' teachings for the age of Pisces, and the age of Aquarius is coming up? So wouldn't that be relinquishing and giving us more free will to choose which path we want to go down to? Because isn't like the age of Aquarius a sign that kind of has a little bit of every astrological sign about it? Like it's kind of encompassing every little sign, right?
Well, if anything, Pisces would be the sign that amalgamates all the others into one. But I would also remind you, Jesus was not just the usher of a single astrological age. No. We've got to remember, the ages run backwards.
Yeah.
Meaning Pisces, yes, was the end, or Aries was the end.
Yeah.
Aries was the end, and then it crossed into Pisces. So Jesus did not just mark the beginning of one age. He was the usher of an entire eon, of an entire great year, the Platonic year, the 25,000 year cycle. Jesus punctuated all of that. So Jesus is the usher of a full set cycle of 12 ages. He's not just the usher of Pisces, but Pisces is, the last stop. So he's the Alpha and the Omega. Like he said, I'm the beginning and the end, the Lamb of God and the Fisher of Men, Aries and Pisces, everything in between. And but hey, man, I gotta get going. I gotta get home and go back to sleep. We got a couple callers in here. I'm sorry, guys.
Hey, was it true? Like I read in the comments that like some homeless guy shit on the window. Is that true?
Some guy did shit on our window one time.
That's crazy, bro. What the fuck?
First he was out here on the bench in front of our store, and I noticed him. He scooted his butt off the side of the bench and was doing the deed right in front of our store. I stuck my head out. I was already fuming angry.
Yeah.
Because this is a nice store. We're the nicest store on the block, admittedly, and that's not even a boast. This guy's in front of our store. He's shitting on the sidewalk. I stick my head out and I scream at him. I say, "Get the fuck out of here. What are you doing?"
It's wild, bro.
He gets up and he waddles around the corner, so he's out of view from where I was, but my girlfriend, I think, can see him. He goes around to another one of our windows. It's worse than you thought. He goes up to one of our windows and literally smacks his butt down up against one of the windows and yeah, you don't want to know the rest.
That's crazy.
He lets it rip right on our windowsill. And when that happened, I ran outside and I Spartan kicked him.
Damn. Oh
off
my god, bro.
off of our window.
Oh
And
shit.
a cop came around. Believe it or not, my luck. The cop comes around the corner at the moment that I kick this guy as hard as I can, just to get him off the window. And the cop sees me kick him and stops, screeches on her brakes, slams, gets out, and starts screaming at me like I'm the bad guy. Because I laid my hands on this homeless guy who literally crapped on our window, on our store, and they were going to handcuff me for. And then I swear to God, I was screaming at this cop too, because she was going to arrest me. And then a bunch of cops come around, and there's this group of 10 cops. This guy is sitting here with his pants half up, shit all over the place. It reeks. And they're angry at me. And they were going to take me in for whatever, battery.
That's retarded.
But I said I have the whole thing on video, 2 angles.
Yeah.
This guy committed a felony.
Yeah.
A real felony, not like a selling weed felony. Like that's criminal. That's borderline sexual. It's deviant.
Yeah.
And he did that. And the fact that he did it second time on the store when I told him to move, no, fuck that guy. He's gonna burn in hell.
Oh shit.
But,
oh my gosh. That's
whatever.
crazy, bro. So did they arrest him for shitting?
No, you want to know what they said? They said, "Oh, he's a veteran." I said, I said, Well, is that how low the bar is now? But I said,
oh my gosh.
I said every veteran I've ever met never did this. So that doesn't matter. This guy.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy, bro. Damn. Well, I hope. Yeah. Well, you got a story to tell now, so that's pretty wild, though. But
yeah, no one was hurt, no one was harmed.
Just the guy got Spartan kicked.
Yeah, and then later they did end up putting him in an ambulance. So they took him to the hospital to get washed off. And they probably gave him $100
and a bunch of painkillers.
Yep. They loaded him up on the hospital food so he could terrorize the rest of the city.
Oh, dude, why? That's crazy. Why don't they just I know in some cities, if it's a nice, good, small town, they'll just, if there's a homeless person, they'll just pick them up and drive them to the nearest town that allows, I don't know.
Yeah. What's funny about that is this is where they drop them off.
Oh.
This is Lake Worth is the lowest class. It's the lowest income part of Palm Beach County, at least on the coastal Palm Beach County. It's the cheapest.
But that's coastal. That's still a pretty nice area, right?
It is still pretty nice, but this is where they all get dumped. Because Palm Beach is right there where Trump lives.
Oh.
There's not a single hobo on Palm Beach because they pick them all up off the island and bring them here, drop them off in Lake Worth. They all hang out here. They give away free food on the weekends. They have a shower, portable emergency shower for all these people to use. The shrieks that I've heard coming out of that shower. Okay. This thing is this is Dante's, seventh hell. This thing is it's like a Saw movie in there. It's chamber of defilement.
Yeah, sounds. Yeah.
It's like a tractor. No, it's like a trailer, emergency shower setup. and they just leave it in this parking lot. All the hobos get hot showers for free and a full meal. It's fucking.
Well, I live near San Francisco, and that's like it's pretty crazy
Oh
there
yeah.
too. When you go there,
Oh,
like it's wild. It's so bad there. Oh my gosh.
well, all right,
Yeah.
man. Libra.
Yeah. That's
What's
me.
your zodiac sign?
Libra.
Oh, nice. So that checks out. Good
Yes,
point.
sir.
All right, man. I
Take
gotta
care.
go to sleep. Appreciate you
All
calling
right.
in.
Yeah. Have a
Night
good
night.
night. Later.
You too. All right, y'all. We got some more people in line here. I'm sorry. I was late to begin with. I gotta go to sleep. Call in some other time. We'll get around to you guys. Sorry about that. I'm gonna run through these quick because I'm tired. You can go to dancingelephant.shop. Use the code OWF. Crystals, books, amazing. All this knowledge at your fingertips. Through your keyboard, through your screen. It can all be yours. Crystals, books. We do tarot cards too. A lot of stuff in here. Use the code OWF, dancingelephant.shop. That'll help me out. That'll help out the store. And then what else we got? Go to Sip Blue. Get some butterfly pea flower tea, whatever. Shilajit on there too. Use the code OWF on that. Sipblue.com. We also got themoringaman.com. Themoringaman.com. The code on that is Old World Florida, spelt all the way out. And that's 15% off. So you get a good chunk of money off on that. That stuff's really good. Who is this this lady? Barbara O'Neill, I think that's her name. She's like a TikTok, like holistic doctor on TikTok. Barbara O'Neill. She's going around saying that the Australian government, I think, made her stop selling moringa or shut down her business because it's too healthy. It's too good for you. So I don't know much about her. People were sending me that about her talking about moringa. But moringa is really good for you. Superfood. Super nutrient dense. You guys have heard the spiel before. You can use the code Old World Florida spelt out. themoringaman.com. What else can you do? You can go to galloglassbooks.shop. You can get yourself a copy of Monad. That's my brother's newly published book. And you can go to the Patreon. Old World Patreon. I think it's www.patreon.com/oldworldflorida for our Patreon. You can just search Old World Florida Patreon. You'll find it. And then what else do we got? We have I think that's it. Okay, everyone have a good night. Thanks to everyone who called in. Appreciate you guys. Peace. Nighty night.